Good morning. Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's going to be a perfect sunrise this morning. Not a cloud on the horizon. The sky is brilliantly orange. There's hardly any breeze, and it's an absolute pleasure being down here. I'm the only one down here at Circular Quay, from what it appears, and this view, this vista is completely mine. What I normally do, so my routine every morning, is that I normally get up, or the alarm goes off at 4:45. I pop in the shower, I shave, brush my teeth, collect my breakfast, head to the bus stop with my car, and then jump on a bus which comes down here to Circular Quay, and then I hop on the monorail or the train service. What's it called? There's the light rail, and I come down here to Circular Quay, and I do a vlog every morning, or every workday morning, Monday to Saturday where I can. And on my trip in, I just pull out my little notepad, which I have, and I take some notes from a book summary that is available online. And when I get down here, I simply go through and deliver the book summary for the day. So today's book summary is entitled The High Five Habit, by an author known as Mel Robbins, a female author. And this, once again, is an interesting book. It's a book which basically focuses on what are the sort of standout habits that we can incorporate into our daily schedule that can have the greatest impact on our life and lift our spirit. So Mel kicks off the book with a brilliant and a very empowering and profound observation that if we change our decisions, it will naturally change our life. And the next thing that she says is that what will change our decisions more than anything else is courage, because it takes courage to make decisions or to implement decisions, because we're trying to overwhelm the many fears, the many irrational fears that infest our mind and our actions. And as we said, a lot of those fears are irrational fears. They're not real. It's a warped sense, it's a warped view of the world that we have built up over time. Either we've inherited it from our families, our work buddies, our teachers, our schoolmates, our religion. Who knows where a lot of those fears have come from? But as we said, a lot of those things are potentially holding us back and challenging us in a negative way. So the author here kicks off with a call to action, and it's a fun call to action. It's a little bit flippant. I guess a lot of people will criticise what I'm about to say, but there is some science to it, that our state determines our worldview and how we feel about things and how we see things. So Mel, in her book, encourages us to incorporate this following habit into our morning routine. And she asks us to make it a morning habit to high five ourselves in the mirror to kick off the day. So you look at yourself in the mirror and you give yourself a high five. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? But let's have a look at the science as to why it may work for some people and why it's worth a try. Because as we've picked up and learnt over the years, a high five is a sign of victory. And believe it or not, it can change our state. It can change the way you feel. It can change the way you see things from being negative or neutral to being positive. Nothing much comes out of being negative. Nothing much good transpires from a negative state. So, and negativity, according to Mel, is our natural state. We're born into the world. We are influenced by the media, by our parents. And sometimes, and you'll notice this, that a negative influence in your life has a bigger impact than a positive influence. You know, you see little kids hanging around with their friends or playing with people, and sooner or later, the negative influence, the one who has a negative worldview, will end up influencing most of the children. The bad boy, the bad girl, will end up having a greater impact and an influence on the group around them. And that's why it's a battle. It's a constant battle to be discerning in terms of the people that you surround yourself with and the input that you've got coming into your life and into your brain and into your team. Because our mood can be influenced. But if you're influenced in a positive way, if you've got a positive worldview, according to Mel, then you're going to be more welcoming and more accepting of good things, of good vibes, than if you have a negative worldview where you're probably more open and accepting and accommodating of negative things coming into your day, coming into your world. Mel goes on to say that being negative affects your behaviour more than you think. So it's not just a simple sort of thing that can be solved and can be sorted out. Being negative is a disease. It's something that impacts not only you in a bad way, but also it infects and it impacts the people around you in more ways than one. Being negative can impact your life in more ways than you can imagine. And I've said that again because I think it needs an emphasis so that we don't fall into the trap, or at least we understand that it's something that needs to be worked on. Because negativity is a self-destructive behaviour. Nothing good, as we said before, comes out of being negative. It's okay to be negative on occasion, according to Mel, because sometimes you just can't help it. But we need to work. We need to work to sort it out and to spark things up and to move from a negative state to a positive state where possible. Because it's important to understand and to realise and to appreciate that we have a choice. And I was very fortunate at an early stage of my life to have decided to be happy, to be more positive whenever I can be, and to see things in a positive light rather than a negative light. As Mel alludes to in her book, negativity is the natural state, and to be positive requires work. You can't be lazy and be positive at the same time. It takes effort, and especially, as we said, because we're surrounded more so today than ever before by the negative Nancy's, the freedom wankers, the anti-vaxxers, and those who love sensationalizing little things, turning mountains or turning molehills into mountains. I got that wrong, but is that molehills? Anyway, it'll come to me as we continue. So we're surrounded by people who love sowing seeds of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So a little bit more about the science. Mel, in her book, reminds us that we need to free our minds of negativity in order to make room for positivity. And many years ago, I went to a seminar that was run by Telstra, and the trainer was named Lou Tice, and he introduced us all to the topic, to the concept of the reticular activating system. And what the reticular activating system is a filter that sits in our brain, and the job of that filter from a scientific perspective is to filter out, or to filter all the information and just allow the things that are relevant to us to pass through to our conscious. Because our subconscious basically takes in everything. You can be sitting across the table and somebody could be reading a book, and you can notice the page and it's upside down. But what actually happens is that everything that happens in our world comes through our subconscious and is recorded. But you've got billions of bits of information bombarding you continuously. And it's this reticular activating system that allows the things that are relevant, the things that are dangerous, the things that need your attention to filter through. So what we're saying from a science point of view is that the reticular activating system is something that can be programmed, can be, adjusted, refined by the user, and on occasion it doesn't always function efficiently and needs a deep clean, a service, and severe maintenance. So what you focus on, what you think about, can have an impact on your reticular activating system. Being optimistic, being positive, living with positive expectancy can change, can retune, can refine your reticular activating system, and not cause you grief. So what we're saying is that, for example, what you focus on or what you think about most regularly will be the things that your reticular activating system responds to. If you're negative, if you're pessimistic, then your reticular activating system will be scanning the universe to identify things to fulfill your worldview. Say, for example, you want to buy a car and you focus on a red car. What Mel says and other scientists say is that once you've loaded something into your reticular activating system, then all of a sudden every car you notice will be a red car, but not only a red car, but the model of red car that you're looking or you're interested in buying. So we hear of the term confirmation bias, and confirmation bias is where you basically scour the universe to prove yourself right. We've said time and time again that human beings are teleological in nature, and once we've posed a problem, our conscious and subconscious will look for evidence to prove us right or wrong. So this is the reticular activating system working busily when we're sleeping, when we're talking, when we're doing other things. It continues to work, it continues to labour for our benefit. So I guess the important thing to understand is that we have a choice. Each of us have a choice. You can either have your reticular activating system scouring the universe to look for solutions, or you can have it scouring the universe to look for problems and reasons why you can't do things, you shouldn't do things. So even from a spiritual perspective, the New Testament tells us, ask and you shall receive. You have the choice. You can ask for positive things to come into your life, to manifest themselves into your life, or you can have negative things manifesting and swamping you left, right and centre. The choice is yours, but it's important to understand that we have a choice. We have a choice in terms of what we can program, what we can schedule into our reticular activating system. In other words, what it's going to focus on, and if it's the sort of stuff that is problematic. And we often hear that there are some negative people who have solutions and all they do is search and look for problems, whereas there are other people who have problems but surround themselves with opportunities to solve those problems and to find empowering positive outcomes. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this most magical, mystical, beautiful Sydney morning. We're nearing the end of summer, so the sunrise is taking a little bit longer to happen. I really need to head off to work, so I won't be here long enough to see the sun coming up over the horizon there, just behind the Opera House. But it promises to be an absolute cracker, as we said before. So I'll head off back to the station now, head to Mascot, where I'm currently working, and make the most, where possible, of this wonderful day. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode, and I sincerely hope that we can all take something from it and high five ourselves on a regular basis to lift ourselves, to get us to accept and to love ourselves, because we're all worthy at the end of the day. We live in a world that is continually trying to break us down, continually trying to invalidate us and make us feel unworthy. But it's up to yourself, and it's up to the ones who surround you, the ones who love you, to help validate and make you feel welcomed and appreciated. But it's got to start with you. You've got to start with yourself, and once you've sorted yourself out, once you've lifted yourself, then you're in a position to help others around you. Take care, Yasas, and I will continue this journey for as long as possible. I will continue to deliver book summaries for as long as I have my health, and for as long as books are available and book summaries are there to be presented. Take care, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and until we meet again, let's remind ourselves that we are alive, we are well, and life is awesome. Take care, Yasas, and Filakya. Bye for now.